do is they'll introduce each other, okay, just kind of fun, informal, but people might not know who you are, people might not know, so just introduce yourself. You don't need to say the role that you're playing, just go, Brian,
After Lone Story, after Kyle.
And after Kyle?
No, or after Kyle.
Should they mention anything about
Okay, no. That's the way I want it. So it's gonna go Krista, Lexi, Kyle, Banter, and they're gonna grab the put them on pause. And the pause is all the stuff that they have to at some point.
My role in this session right here is curate ideas.
I need another script. Is there one?
Is it in a file somewhere?
This is back there in a stack by the chairs.
Sledgehammer. What's the prop for this one? A fork and dinner plate?
Oh, we need the dinner plate.
If anyone misbehaves,
Hey, Valensky, can you find that dinner plate?
Right there, on the ledge.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to put the rest of them right down the direction.
There's 4, so you can
All right, so one way to open, you can do this however you want, but the concept is because you have different people every time at the table that they might not know. So for you to, does that make sense?
Makes total sense.
One thing, if you want, since this is the first session, is the possibility of saying, when they introduce themselves, maybe one short sentence of why they're excited about this series as you begin. You can do something that, instead of just, my name's Brian, just one thing that they could say that they're excited. If you want to start like that, to get a little personality, but you don't have to. It's up to you. You can try it.
Do that?
Our personalities are all the same.
If it's
has to be very pithy. It needs a little makeup.
The plate is shiny. It's got an intro. How are we talking about? How do we want to intro? Because I said this is the first session.
So let's just take you, Rob. One thing, why are you excited about this? So look for the differential from the last series that you played. Look maybe about what is the content of this one. What is it about the way that you're doing the format? Anything that you think is just kind of cool or different.
and we'll go to the pause.
Yeah, this is the very first session. Does that make sense? So what would you say? Let's try this. Why don't you guys listen up here? Can you hear?
Then I'll turn to you and say, Link, bring this
I didn't mean to say it like that.
Then you just preach for
So just talking to the camera or talking to you?
Yeah, you come to the camera.
So I'm excited for this. Jumping into our second go with this, and what I'm really pumped up about is the fact that people are going to have been in groups already for the whole first series, so now they get to continue to be together for this series. And so the fact that longevity has already been taking place, and this is like the next step in their journey as a group, I think that's powerful.
You think like that? Just like 10 seconds. Just boom.
It's going to go
Put that on.
pause. Panel question.
Just a couple of us, right? Not
All of them. No, I want them to get to know you. This is the very first session, so in every session we're changing it out. So we want you to introduce yourself, and then one thing why you're kind of excited
Lead
about
them
this.
into selecting one person that they're going to focus on. So you're kind of going, if you sat down with one other person,
excited about the opportunity
you're not going to be the biggest suit. And if you want to go nuclear on it, bring out that.
Yeah, I think it's great. By the way, they're wanting to reinforce the word circle up. Okay? Circle. Okay, so I think that's great. So look for difference. Why don't you take a shot? What would you kind of add? Let's just go ahead and get it out.
I'll actually
Second week in
introduce
November.
the panel. I'll explain the fact.
But I don't know that you want to make it timely. You still want it to have somewhat time. I think Robbie's is good enough relative to, hey, we've gone through one of these series, and despite this is the second series a lot of people are going through. Think timeless as you can. I like where you're going, because that is it. But still go where you're going. We just don't want everybody to say, all right, we're in November 1st. Right. Okay, Brian, you got one?
Excited about this because how many people in our spheres of influence are still living life far from God?
Yeah.
And still living life all alone. They're not in a circle.
Brilliant. It's brilliant. The alone, I love that. Yeah. Okay, you can be secure.
You can take these down.
Yeah.
Totally agree. I just like to have both of you. And we're talking about
We're going to do a walkthrough.
I was going to say, Lincoln, you brought a big Bible. Pull out. Preach.
Yeah.
Travel Bible.
Yeah, I think.
It's not big enough.
Yeah, you want to do just a quick walk because you got
let's do a quick drive.
All right, so if you haven't got your mic, it's okay. What we want to do is just
quick dry run.
As they're dialing in the audio, we're going to do kind of a dry run with this to kind of just get the popcorn going with the crew. Okay?
I like it.
A guy, it's a pretty cool story, but a guy I grew up with who later became a youth pastor.
We'll throw it into your story. Throw it into the
High school, you
Maybe
have
into the
that.
band.
Oh,
Yes.
We're good.
Kurt, you see
It's a pretty cool story.
an obstacle banter in all of them. We did the obstacle in that last one. Is that just a feature of that one? Or
No,
is that
just feature. On this one, I'm going to ask when we get to that question part, right before the Lincoln Mix. I'm going to ask who first talked to you about Jesus, and just each of us go.
Okay.
You know, Krista, we heard your story, and who first talked to us about
Somebody
Jesus?
else. Somebody else, yeah.
And you know, for me, it was Jane Connors. You're going to hear more about that.
Lexi better say her parents.
Well, and I think that's the point. We make the point that Gilbert was making to me in between the session of going, man, you can't underestimate that.
some lady?
Someone's got yes.
And we'd benefit, Kurt, you guys, each of you guys, we'd benefit from having grace with a little extra. So even though it may feel long for this moment,
Walking culture.
giving more giving more what? Give us more to work with.
Yes. Very interesting people, very important parties. Circle up, party, circle up. Very interesting people, very important parties. Circle up.
Yeah.
VIP.
And then we're also trying to remember from our conversation, we're trying to say Matthew was an unlikely person because of the tax collector side of him, etc. Don't rule anyone out. You know, it was that sort of thing as well.
Is there a word that you
Modern day lawyer, modern day defense attorney. Just saying.
Oh no, I just wanted to say
saying.
we did that walkthrough. I thought that was gold.
Okay, let's do a little walkthrough right here. So, 3, 2, 1. Hey everyone, it's Kurt here, and we've literally circled up some of the folks to talk about our new series, which is VIP. It's very interesting people and very important parties that Jesus went to. What would happen if we learned the motives and the methods of Jesus and we engaged people the way he did? I think we'd make a huge difference in people's lives. And by the way, before we go any further, I just want to introduce the panel here. Who are you and why are you interested in this series?
My name's Brian, and I'm interested in this series because how many people in our worlds and our spheres of influence are still living life all alone and far from God?
Hey, I'm Krista, and I'm just excited about opportunity to bring more people into my circle.
Hey, I'm Robbie Quick, and I'm excited because many of you have already been in the group, and you're continuing this journey of circling up together and living life together. And just being a part of that and knowing that's happening is just powerful. I think it's amazing.
Wrong answer.
I'm like, what?
I'm Lincoln. I'm here with Brian and Robbie.
It's awesome. It's awesome. Have fun with that. They're obviously going to know you, but yeah.
I'm excited because, you know, my wife does this stuff really naturally, and I would like to do it for myself every once in a while.
And I'm Andrew, and there's just a ton of people out there that I know if they just connected with the living Lord, the living God, their lives would be transformed. I want to know how to do that.
The living glow as well.
I'm Lexi, and I'm so excited to see people in all communities, people who are unlikely, understand that God loves them and there's a place for them in the church.
That's super.
My name's Kyle, and I'm most excited about people finding their hope and their purpose, and the difference of being without Jesus and having no hope and no purpose to being with Jesus and having hope and purpose.
So now, Lexi just used the word that I want to key in. She said unlikely. That's our story this week. We are in Matthew chapter 9, and Matthew is the most unlikely person to be a follower of Jesus, yet he becomes an apostle. I just have this question for you out there. How many of you have never, ever led someone to Christ? Or maybe even never even invited someone to church? Sometimes I think we think people are so far from God that we can't have an impact on them. But that's not the way Jesus saw it. I'm telling you, the funnest part of Christianity is letting God use your life to change other people. So we're going to jump in to the motives and methods of Jesus here and see if we can do exactly that. To do that, I've asked Lincoln to tell us a story, get us started.
Cool. Can I just do it when I do it?
Yeah.
Let me ask, do you want to try to use teleprompter, or you just want to rock and roll?
I just rock and roll.
I have a feeling that might be best as I'm watching this. I know.
What do you guys think about Kurt saying something about, you know what, studies show that most churches lose their passion for, evangelism, preaching the lost in 7
This
years.
whole series, we're going to turn that around. right here is one.
Yeah.
Your church, your group, we're going to turn that around. Yeah, I like that.
Okay, I think you're good, bro. And then where were you going to do this?
And then Lincoln does his story. Then Krista jumps in. Then Lexi jumps in and says, "I'm thankful for that because, frankly, you guys would. If someone would have told you, man, I wouldn't be here because I'm your doc. I don't know if you guys have figured that out." And then Kyle, you jump in with your story. We banter. Feel free, jump in there. Yeah. I think you do that at the end, Robbie. Yeah. You're the neighbor at the very end. That'll be an anchor. So then, just a little free-form banter, and then at the height of it, Andrew's going to grab it and go, all right, pause. And that's where we're going to do the pause joke. So everyone freeze, and then Andrew, you just play with it, and we'll play with you. And then we'll go
it's
to
just
pause.
simply go to your groups now and start talking through some of the issues that we've raised, correct?
Yes.
Who are the unlikely people?
Here's the one I had. All of us have been a Matthew at some point. Before we actually, let's talk about that. What were you like before you encountered Christ, and who was it that helped you do that?
That's good.
And then I'll come back and I'm going to ask this question. All right, so we heard from Krista. What about some others? Who's the first person who mentioned Jesus or brought you to church or had some sort of spiritual influence on you? And then boom, 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 we'll pop that
So
around.
everybody be ready to answer that question at any time.
And then I'll go, okay, Link, bring this home for us. What is the big main point of this passage? What are we going to take away from here? Link will do the dinner plate, and then I'll say, all right, every week we're going to do three things. We're going to read the passage, we're going to ask some questions, have some discussion, and we're going to apply it with a challenge. Here's the passage I want you to read. Here's the first question you might want to jump into. And here's the challenge. And then, Robbie, you jump in there and say, let me give you an example of how that challenge worked in my life.
You'll read the challenge, then I'll do that.
Yes.
Yeah, got it.
And then I'll go, okay, one more time. Read the passage, ask the questions, have some discussion, and then make sure you get to the challenge at the end, which is, who is it that I'm going to blah, blah, blah. You good?
Thanks, fantastic.
All right, let's go.
Okay, guys, have fun.
All right, here we go.
All right, cool. Did Brett at all talk to you guys about the ratio of looking at the camera to looking at each other at all?
You said 74.5%.
Well, it's actually 72, so he's pretty wrong. No, but that's the one thing I noticed on the last one. Just make sure you guys don't feel the pressure to always look at your camera. Look at your camera when you're driving home a content piece, or like her when you're hosting. Obviously, you're bringing us into the next point. But when you guys are bantering on the table, make sure it still feels conversational around this table. Like there's a reason we have you guys here facing each other, kind of event, if that makes sense. We have the two of you on the end here are going to be at that camera right there. The two of you here are going to be looking into that camera right there. That's where you drive home your point. So a point comes in, you want to make sure the living room sticks with it. You look right into that camera, you look in the living room. All of my gentlemen back here, you guys are going to be this camera right here at the teleprompter. Okay, so that's going to be your camera that you drive everything home to. Kurt, then you're hosting this.
Yep.
You're okay, perfect.
Here's the one other thing I noticed is the first funny thing that gets said, everyone lets out a really fake overlaugh. So just, keep it natural.
Don't laugh at those jokes.
Yes. It's a full Ed McMahon.
Ed McMahon on Carson.
Yeah.
Don Rickles is on.
Yeah.
And Don's just doing his thing, and Ed's like up on the edge of his chair, and everything Johnny says, Ed's, oh. And like a couple of jokes in, Don Rickles just goes, relax, Ed, you got the gig.
They didn't look at my picture.
Don Rickles.
At some point, you want to do that with the mom. Is that what I just heard?
Yeah.
I didn't know that until
Tactical
he said that, but that's kind of fun.
You like that? Were you changing that?
Yes, we were just Jesus and the dinner party.
Jesus and the dinner.
Just make
Now,
sure
did you
that-
guys ever pick up this fake concept? I didn't.
Clean up on us, too.
Let's get this party started. It's funny you just did that because I emptied mine so that I could make the joke.
She's not wet. That was so good.
Not quite so fake, are they?
All right, are we ready? This group is going to be a lively one, I can tell.
Yeah.
There's a little fire in this group.
Baptism is week 4. Okay, Kristen? Baptism's week 4. Okay.
I got none of mine.
Krista, please say something super awkward about Gus, just for me.
I'm gonna say I was chasing this hot basketball player at Sac State. That was my.
But don't say then I had to settle for Gus. Don't do that. I don't want to plant ideas in your head.
So Lincoln, when you introduce the plate, so you'll just bring that up here. You can set it back down after that, but we just want to make sure they can see what it is you grab. Because if you set it on the table immediately, then
then
right
there's
over your
this plate.
faces. We were actually talking about that. We were saying, you may want to do that entire
How about I do this? I go, and we'll make it the whole time you're talking.
No paper towels, but there's some napkins we can clean it up.
Thank you.
So we got.
You've heard
Is everybody
this
loaded?
precious table.
There's a lot of spillage going on.
Why does that smell like gin?
No.
It's not me. I smell good.
It's weird. The sessions are getting better.
It's a little bit shaky. You notice this thing?
Probably said
You
they
know,
were
this is one of the reasons why you should never record number one.
I would have.
Number two is a little beta, and now we're a little better.
I mean, were you sitting here last time?
Yeah, don't touch it. They're problems.
Just point it out. That's it.
Zach, we're just holding for the
Frame.
men behind the window to fix this.
Hey, welcome, my friend. We're in a series called VIP, and we've actually circled up some people right here to talk about the motives and methods of Jesus in engaging people. What does Jesus do? He goes to very interesting people at very important parties. But before we get started, I'm just going to go around the circle and introduce yourself and tell me what is it about this series that interests you?
My name's Brian, and I'm really excited, very interested in this series because it's cool.
It's totally cool.
Totally cool.
Totally cool.
Wow, Brian.
You said, what did you say the first time? It was really good.
Yeah, I'll get it back.
Get it back, because I can't remember it, but I remember thinking that was good.
Save it for the real take.
Yeah.
I'm actually excited to start to circle up with some different people. I get to see you guys all the time. And I'm not
tired of it.
I'm
I just
tired.
heard
I'm
you
sick
say
of
I'm
you.
tired of
I'm sick of looking at
Say
you
that.
guys. I need a new group to circle up with.
That's good.
Hey,
Do that.
Robin Quick, and I agree. Being together with you guys is awesome, but then there's a ton of other groups that are continuing to be together and growing and learning. I think that momentum is so powerful, and I'm excited to see it continue.
I'm Lincoln, and I carry Kurt's purse.
He's very excited about that.
The satchel, Indiana Jones.
It's a man bag. Ask Andrew, it's European.
My name's Kyle, and I'm super excited for this series. Just the idea that so many people without Christ don't have any hope and or any purpose. With Jesus, we have hope and we have purpose, and there's so many VIPs who need hope and need purpose.
I'm Lexi, and I'm really just excited to see unlikely people here, just how welcome they are into God's family.
Actually, just used a word I really like. She said unlikely. And boy, nothing could be truer of the story that we're studying. Matthew chapter 9, this tax collector named Matthew is reached by Jesus Christ just with two words. He says, follow me. And the next thing you know, Jesus is at a ginormous dinner party. And at that dinner party is all of the unlikely people of this culture, the tax collectors, the traders, and so it's really cool and it's really fun. And I'm going to say some stuff right here, and then I'm going to turn it to Lincoln. He's going to say his thing. Tax collectors were very important people, and they gathered, and it was a very important party that they gathered at.
We're ready when you are.
Deadliest catch references.
The windowsill guy is still working.
Oh yeah, okay. So kind of set the scene.
Yes.
What,
Oh, yeah, 95%.
You know what? Read it. Open it.
So again, is it just talk about your life when you were outside of Christ?
Hello, it's Kurt Harlow.
All of us have been a Matthew. We felt unlikely and unloved and unbelonging. Who was that person that drew you in and said, no, you are part?
Oh, right. So it's
We're all
not
doing
just
that.
what was life like as a pagan,
What was life like as a pagan?
but also how did you connect?
That you know what happens is when we understand.
So in other words, what were you like in Ireland
Yes.
before you got here? you were
Tell them what you
alive.
said. Tell them what you said to your mom.
If you really troll for YouTube,
Your sermons before you became a Christian were
all day.
wow.
I made a lot of money out of this. The good old days.
Used to preach on TV and then I got saved.
Yeah.
I'll wait.
The televangelist joke went down a treat this week.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Oh, yes. There it goes.
I gotta go with my car.
White BMW.
Oh, that's me.
I gotta move my car.
Hey, I gotta move my car.
Yeah.
I guess it's in a spot we're not supposed to be in, but I have no idea.
Sweet. It's a loner.
Do
Can you
they
give the
know?
keys to?
Yeah. I'm sure they'd be happy.
Hey, John.
Mark, there's Mark. We need John. He's with it. Mark.
Yeah.
Hey, Mark, can you move that white BMW that's parked in front of the next door? The key should be right up there by that backpack.
Yeah, you listen.
It's a loner.
We got Mark.
Sure.
Oh.
Look at John Blinsky. Look at JV.
We need you
Oh,
to
did you
do
say you
JV.
need a BMW move?
Yeah.
Editorial rights, John.
Feel free to drive it around.
Hello, everyone. I am pouring coffee.
Do you know why I'll never buy a service loaner? Because people like me get them loaned to them. That's why. I was like, I've always wondered what those cars would do. So.
You don't spend donuts, you spend crawlers. I don't even know what that means.
Look at Curry. Whenever Kurt's kind of introing it in or hosting, you guys can look at him. You don't need to look at the camera. Yeah.
Look at me. Talk to him. Look at me. Talk to him. Look at me.
You guys are doing intimacy.
Talk to me. Look at her.
Intimacy.
You know, whoever figured that out, that into me was just like, yes.
Hello.
Hello.
Sound. Just staying static here, fellas. Sweet. Bayside, one apple. Take. Oh, I don't know why I'm over here. Thank you, David. One apple. Take one.
Hello, I'm Kurt, and we're circling up to get into a series called VIP. Very important people. No, it's not very important people. It's very interesting people. Here we go.
Very important parties with very interesting people.
No CID. That is the twist. Is VIP is very important. Teaching your head.
I know.
Okay, perfect. So Andrew, if you could sit up a little bit more.
Andrew, can you work on your posture?
Hey!
You want me to get closer?
Bring out the Velcro straps, guys.
Straight as a die. Got my anger news.
Okay, here we go, everybody. Cameras are set. And take it from the top. And in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kurt, and we're here gathered for our VIP series. We're talking about very important parties and very interesting people that Jesus Christ engaged. We're looking at the motives and the methods of Jesus on how you can really have an impact on other people's lives. And before we jump into it, I want to actually talk to our Circle Up group, get their names, introduce them, and ask them this question. Why is this series so important?
Hi there, my name's Brian, and I'm really excited about this series because how many people do we all know who are still living life far from God and not in a circle? They're not in community, they're by themselves.
I'm Kristen. My answer is not quite as spiritual. I'm sick of having groups with you guys. I'm ready to circle up with some new folks.
Kristen, we love you. We want you to be in the new circle. Wow.
I've changed partners.
I'm Robbie Quick, and I'm excited because people are joining groups. They're circling up all over the community, and I think that's powerful. Like the song, I think it's kind of grooving out. The people will finally get. Lincoln, come on,
Here we go.
You're supposed to jump in on that. No, but I really do. People are getting together. I think that's powerful, so I'm excited about that.
I'm Lincoln, and I'm with Robbie today. So
Yeah, and I'm Andrew, and I'm just so happy to try and meet new people because life is so exciting when you meet people who don't yet know God. It just spices up life. It's a wonderful thing.
My name's Kyle, and I'm so excited for this series. As people without Jesus don't have hope and purpose, and if we have Jesus and we have people find Jesus, they're going to have hope and purpose, and life changes dramatically with that.
I'm Lexi, and I'm really just excited